Well, good morning, guys. It is July the 27th, Saturday. I'm here in the White, and we're spreading some manure. Another hot day, lots of sun. My uncle's gone cutting that little field below the road. It's only about a couple acres, and then I don't know what else is going on. All I know is I got to spread manure, so we better get at it. Alright guys, so we're on our second load of the day. Everything's going pretty good so far. We pulled that pipe, I think I mentioned yesterday in the video, it was somewhat plugged and it's kind of slowing things down, so turn the AC back on before I die here. We pulled the pipe out of the pit and cleaned out the end of it. We had to reprime the pump, of course, which kind of sucks. It took us a little while to get that done, but we got her done. This is my second load now, like I said, and it's definitely going a little bit faster, so I guess it was worth taking the time to do. Looks like Dad's got the level 5 moved off the stir stick. I'm not sure what he's doing with that, but anyway. Now would be a good time to answer some viewer questions, but I have any to answer right now. I'll look at my phone here in a little bit. What I am going to do though is I'm going to show you guys the corn. I think it's time for another corn update. So when I get in here and get this load spread, I'll show you guys another just a quick clip of that. Amazing how fast that stuff grows. I think next year I'm going to do a little time lapse of the corn growing or something. It's kind of an idea I had. I looked it up there on YouTube the other day, and there was a few channels that have done it. 50 horsepower enough to slow down off that hill. We only got 100, we need 150. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna unload this load and we'll see you at the cornfield. Alright, here it is. A lot of that plastic is kind of degraded and stuff. Walk in here when I get up the field a bit. Pretty huge difference since the last video. It's about, well, it's over knee high on me. So it's looking pretty good. I wouldn't say the crows did too much damage. There is some spots in it, of course, but overall, I think we made it all right. Their seed rep was around the other day looking at it. I don't know if she had anything to say or not. I never really heard. But this corn, we just put a pre-emerge on it, herbicide, when it was planted, and that's it. They say we wouldn't have to spray it anymore. Bit of a bare patch here, but there's no real weeds coming in, so I guess it must be working. And while I'm here, maybe I'll take a run over and look at the peas. They're actually just about ready to cut. Actually, they might even be, well, we'll see when I get over here. I haven't looked at them yet. Yeah, it looks like a good crop here too. I say peas, but it's a mix. Oh yeah, it's starting to flower even. Even actually a little bit too far, I think. A little bit too far. Not that it, well, I shouldn't say not that it matters. So it's a little bit too far ahead, but it's tall. The thing with the peas mix is there's a certain level, like if you cut it early enough, there's more protein in it, and if you let it go a bit longer, you get more quantity, but the quality is not as good. There's not as much protein in it, so that's kind of the downside of leaving it go too long, but we do get more feed out of it. Anyway, it should be cut now, but the problem is with the stuff, it's a pain in the ass, and I'll tell you why. It's ready in about 60 days from when you plant it, and it seems like for us it always falls in between first and second cut. So it's kind of a hard time to start cutting and chopping, because the peas, you want to bury them in the silo just the way they are. It's hard to get them back out again if they're not buried. They need to be like compressed or whatever. If they just bury them loose on top, then it just becomes a problem. But anyway, that's why it's kind of a pain in the ass, because it falls in between first and second cut. So anyway, better get back at her. Alright, afternoon, let's continue on spreading the good stuff. ago, we had a little bit of issues there with it overheating. We thought it might be just low on coolant, that's why it was running so hot. So we basically just topped up the coolant and kept on going with it. But we weren't really working it very hard. I was just pulling wagons with it. So that doesn't really work, you know, a 100 horsepower tractor very hard. But then we got the manure spreader on it, and that doesn't work it very hard either when I'm here spreading, although I am running at about 2,000 RPM. But it is quite a load to pull with it, especially up those hills. And anyway, we haven't been having any more trouble with overheating. It's actually, the gauge is right about in the middle right now, which is pretty well ideal. So yeah, it's working good now. I guess that's all it was just low on coolant. I don't know why. It might have been low all along, I guess, a little bit low since we split it. I think we replaced the water pump on it last year. I can't remember, but I don't know. It seems all right now anyway. Let's just keep an eye on it. Alright, the next viewer question comes from Glenn Koopman, K-O-O-P-M-A-N. He asks, is it not a vacuum tanker can't fill itself? Also, why not just fill it up from that big tap outlet at the bottom so you don't need to have the pump? Okay, so air tanker is not self-loading or a vacuum tanker or whatever. It can't load itself. Those don't seem to be real popular here, and if you do see them, they're quite a bit more money than the ones that you have to load manually or with a second pump. Keep in mind that we bought that tanker used, the pump used, the stir stick used. It's all used gear. We didn't buy any of it new, so you kind of just take what you can get. And what was the second part of that question now? Oh yeah, okay. Some of the people that are been around my channel for a while or have seen the older videos, you'll have seen the video where we still had the old Gale V-bottom manure spreader, and we were spreading from the bottom side of the pit. There's a, I think it's a 24-inch, I could be wrong, plastic pipe that comes out at the bottom of the pit, and it's just got a valve on it, and you just pull the valve and you can load the tanker that way too. And we haven't used that in a few years, not since we got the pump. It works. It's just a little bit harder to use for a couple of reasons. One being that you have to pull the full tanker of manure up the hill, and it's quite heavy. And second being, it's just a little bit, you have to climb up a ladder to reach the valve and stuff, but I mean, you could work around that. But I think the easiest way to explain it is to go on location. So we're going to cut to a clip here where I'm actually on location to explain it a little bit better. Alright, here is the pipe at the end of the pit. This is the bottom side of it. I don't want to get too close to that wire there. I just didn't see it. Anyway, we can unload the spreader from here too. That pipe comes out of the very bottom of the pit, and we're about, I don't know, 25 feet maybe even further than that from the top level of the pit. So when we unload the tanker, or load the tanker here I should say, we have to pull out onto this hill, which isn't a big deal. It's kind of flattened off here. Then we got to turn and go up the hill, and this hill is pretty steep. You know, you're talking about going up 25-30 feet in I don't know, 100 feet maybe to the top of the little plateau here. So while we certainly could load the spreader down there, you would be putting a lot of stress on the tractor trying to pull it up the hill. You know, 3,000 gallon tanker, that's 3,000 gallon tanker, that's 30,000 pounds plus the weight of the tanker itself. Anyway, that's kind of why we don't. It's just, it's not that we couldn't do it if we had to. It's just more wear and tear on the machine trying to pull it up the hill over and over again. It's just so steep. With the pump, we can just park it wherever we want, wherever it's easy, and just fill it. It's not that hard. It usually takes 3 minutes, but it seems to be taking a little bit longer than that. Maybe 5 minutes or so to fill the load. So it's not a big deal the way this is set up. Our tanker isn't self-loading. It's got no intake on it or nothing like that. There'd be more money. Don't think they're real common here anyway, but I don't know, this setup works good for us. We have no real complaints, and everything was bought used and cheap. So, you know, if you wanted to spend $100,000 or more, I'm sure you could buy whatever you wanted to move the shit out of the pit, or maybe even more than that. But that's what we got, so that's what we'll work with for now. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll be back tomorrow with more action. Hay, probably. But we'll see. So until next time, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to. See you later, guys.